In this week's Parsha Tavo, we read about the Bikurim, the first fruits that are brought to the temple. At the end of the paragraph, the Torah says, "V'samachta v'chol hatova shenatan lacha Hashem Elokecha uveitecha," and you shall rejoice in all the good that God has bestowed upon you and your household. Ata v'halevi v'ager asher b'kirbecha, you and the Levite and the stranger who lives in your midst. By other similar type passages in the Torah, when the Torah wants to include others, for instance those who are needy or downtrodden, the Torah lists out more than just those listed by Bikurim, the Levite and the stranger. A perfect example is found in just the next paragraph, where the Torah lists you, the Levite, the orphan, and the widow. Obviously, when the Torah lists a group of people, there is a reason why it mentions those particular groups of people and not others. So why is it that in our paragraph by Bikurim, the Torah limits rejoicing God's bounty to only with the Levite and stranger, but not with others such as the orphan, widow, or poor? The Torah was not trying to bar or promote one group of people over the other. Our paragraph deals with the Bikurim, the first fruits. Who received these fruits? The poor and needy would not be partaking of them, as they ultimately went to the Kohen. So sharing with the poor and needy was not relevant to performing the mitzvah. Moreover, who brought the first fruits to the temple? It was the landowners. When Israel went into the land, every Israelite received a portion of land as an inheritance. This included those who were or would become orphans or the poor. The case of Tzlofchad's daughters, who were orphans, demonstrated that orphans received a share in the land, even in some cases a huge portion. So since everyone had received land as an inheritance, even if the land was sold in order to raise money, at the Jubilee, which occurred every 50 years, the sold land reverted back to the original owners and inheritors. So ultimately, any Israelite was also a landowner, even if they were poor or orphaned and could potentially bring Bikurim. But in actuality, not everyone owned land. Who did not own land? In the Torah, God specifically tells us that the tribe of Levi would not have a share in the land, as they need to function as the spiritual leaders of the nation, whether inside or outside of the temple. As well, in practice, strangers such as converts would also not own land, as their ancestors had not received any inheritance upon coming into the land from Egypt, and therefore would not own land. As such, it was in particular the Levite and the convert or stranger who would not have had an opportunity to bring the Bikurim, and they would not have the opportunity to experience the first-hand rejoicing of bringing the Bikurim to God. Throughout the book of Dvar and even in the rest of Tanakh, we see that an essential part of the service of God is rejoicing. Yes, there is fear of God, there is the mundane such as offerings, but even more important is the rejoicing that goes along with serving God, inside and outside of the temple. It is the simcha, the rejoicing that helps to elevate the relationship with God to the next level. There's a very big difference in viewing something and of experiencing something firsthand. The Torah went out of its way to include everyone, even those who couldn't bring Bikurim themselves, such as the Levi and convert, to fully participate in the rejoicing, making sure that no Jew would be left behind. Shabbat Shalom.